Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and today I'm going to share with you my TBR for December. So I just put a video up the other day saying how I'm a bit burnt out on reading and just having trouble concentrating. And now I'm making a video with a million books that I'm definitely not going to have to get to in the month of December. So just wanted to explain that this is more so a list of possibilities. I definitely will be reading a very small subsection of these books, and I don't actually really care if I read a TBR in a given month. It's fine. So obviously I'm not going to read all of these, but these are the things I'm pulling off of my shelves because I think I'll be in the mood for them this month. Normally I'm not much of a mood reader, and if I set a TBR, that's just kind of what I go with. The exceptions are, there's a couple times a year when I definitely am in the mood for certain types of things. One being like late October when we get close to Halloween, I definitely am in the mood for like horror or like spooky, scary reads. And in December, I'm definitely in the mood for certain types of things. So I've pulled some things that I think will work for me, and then I'll just read what I can, and I'm going to kind of like take it easy this month. So the first little section are like lower priorities for me. The first one is a holdover from Nonfiction November. Because my reading has slowed down this past month, I just didn't have time to get to it. I'm not sure I'll be in the mood for it in December, but I'm just kind of carrying it over, and if I feel in the mood for nonfiction, I might grab this one. So this is Swinging at the Savoy, the Memoir of a Jazz Dancer by Nora and Evette Jensen. So Nora was one of the original Lindy Hoppers back in the 40s. And I teach and dance Lindy Hop. So this is something I've been wanting to read to learn more about Norma Miller's life. So that's a possibility, but lower priority for December. Another one that's lower priority is another nonfiction. It's not about the Burqa. And this is edited by Mariam. This is for the, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the book club. There's a feminist book club run by, I think it's Lauren Wade and Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts. And I don't know if there's anyone else. I forget the hosts of that book club, and I forget the name of the book club, but there's like a Goodreads group, so I will link that below. But again, this was lower on my priority list, so I'm not sure if I'll get to it, and I'm not sure I'll be in the mood to read any nonfiction this month, but we'll see. So the next category of types of books that I'm in the mood for in December are obviously kind of like Christmassy things with a wintry feel, and also like fairy tales and fantasy. For whatever reason, I usually want to read those around December or in the winter season. So my next big pile are all kind of like Christmassy, wintry, fairy tale type things. The first is the only thing on this list that I am definitely going to read. I feel like even if I still suffer from reading burnout this month, I can probably get to this one. It's super short, so I've never read A Christmas Carol. I've never actually read a Charles Dickens, so this would be my first, and I think this is the perfect place to start. I love like A Christmas Carol adaptations, like movies, but I've never read the book, so it's a short little book, and this is the one thing I know for sure I will read in December. So yeah, there's that. The next one is something that I would dip in and out of potentially. It's a collection of letters by J.R.R. Tolkien, Letters from Father Christmas. And this just sounds so sweet. So this is a collection of letters that Tolkien wrote to his kids. So apparently every year he would write a letter from Santa, from Father Christmas, to his kids, and like some of them are even illustrated. So here, let me just find one. So it has like the picture of the actual letter and signed by Father Christmas, and then the like transcription of the letter. And I just think this is so darling. What a lovely idea and what a lovely thing he did for his kids. So I think this will be a nice little kind of like cute, uplifting read. Our Tolkien's Letters from Father Christmas. So that's a maybe. So the next one is a book that I think a lot of people associate with the Christmas season, and that's Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I haven't read this since I was in middle school, maybe, and I saw it on my shelf, and it just called out to me that it was something I was in the mood for. So this is going on the pile of possibilities, and oh man, I would love to reread this. It's been long enough that although I remember the overall plot, I don't remember anything about Alcott's writing style. Like, this would almost be like reading it for the first time again because it's been so long. So that would be a nice little treat. So those are the more Christmassy ones. The next one is one that just feels like winter, and that's The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. So this is a science fiction that is set on a planet called Winter. So there you go. And I mean, look at the cover. This is definitely a December, January type of book. And on this planet, there is no gender, and the people living there can change biological sex, I think, pretty much at will. And so it's just kind of like talking about like social systems and gender, and it just sounds very fascinating. I love speculative and like science fiction. So, and plus this is very wintry. So that's a possibility. I guess I don't have to say that about every single book. Like, these are all possibilities. Okay. The next also has a very wintry cover, and it's a fairy tale retelling, which I get in the mood for fairy tales around the winter. So we'll see if this strikes my fancy at any time, but it is Hunted by Meagan Spooner. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And so this is a retelling where I think Beauty is like trying to hunt down the Beast because he's kidnapped her father, something along those lines. And I'm not sure if this is YA. The cover kind of makes me think this is YA. It's probably YA. So there's that. And the last one, I don't know if this is actually wintry, but there's just something about the cover that makes me feel like this would be a winter read. And also, I tend to be in the mood for fantasy novels in the winter. So this is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, and this is part of is it a trilogy? I forget how many are in this series, but there's this big, what do they call it, the Rift or something? I feel like the world splits open. So some sort of continental rift happens, and I think these big continental changes happen, I'm assuming every fifth season, like it's a reoccurring thing, maybe? I don't know. That's all I can remember about that book. I didn't look up any of these ahead of time because I have low energy right now, and so there you have it. I didn't do my research. Hope you all don't mind. Oh, and one other fantasy that I'm hoping to reread is The Lord of the Rings. Now, definitely not getting through this in December. Lord of the Rings is like very, very long. But it's been a long time, and it's like one of my favorite books of all time. But I think I'm going to try it on audio, but the audiobook is like, oh my gosh, it must be like 60 hours. It's long. So my plan is to start that audiobook in December, and then it will carry through to January, and hell, it might carry on to February, but that's fine. I just really want to revisit Middle-earth, so I thought it was about time I reread Lord of the Rings. Now, the last kind of category of things that are going on the pile of possibilities are things that are either like shorter or are like collections, so I can dip in and out of them, and I don't necessarily have to read them like every single day. So the first is a collection of poetry by Caroline Duffy called Standing Female Nude. I've had this collection for a while and I haven't read a single poem out of it. So this is something I could read a poem and then put it down for a while and then like a week later read a couple more poems. So I think it's a good strategy for me right now because I feel the desire to read, but I'm just having trouble concentrating. So I think having something I can dip into here and there will keep me reading but not be overwhelming. So we have that. And along the same vein, I found an essay collection on my shelves that I forgot I owned called You Don't Have to Like Me, Essays on Growing Up, Speaking Out, and Finding Feminism by Alida Nugent. I think the title speaks for itself. And again, this is something that I can read an essay, put it down, probably won't get through it in December if I do pick it up. Is probably something that I will just dip in and out of for a couple of months if I do decide to pick it up. And the last thing is a graphic novel because these are just super easy to get through. And this is Saga Volume 2 by Brian K. Vaughn and Fiona Staples. Fiona Staples is the illustrator. And I read the first volume back in the summer and just loved it. So I'm very eager to continue on with it. This doesn't really strike me as a wintry type read, but I just really want to continue on with the story before I forget too much. This is a space opera following two people who are on opposite sides of this like intergalactic war, and they have fallen in love and had a baby, and they are trying to kind of escape the tyranny of this war with their small child, and the last one left on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I've been very much looking forward to continuing with that. So this is something that I'm not like 100% sure I will get to, but this is probably fairly high on the priority list because, like I said, I don't want to forget too many of the characters and things that have happened before I dive into the second volume. So that is my huge pile of possibilities for December. I am definitely getting to A Christmas Carol for sure. All of the others are up in the air. If you've made a TBR, let me know. I'd like to go check it out. If you don't have a booktube channel, please feel free to share your reading plans for the month. I love to have a chat about what you're looking forward to reading. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I would like to know like the types of books that you associate with December if you are a mood reader, because I know a lot of people who celebrate Christmas are choosing things like A Christmas Carol or very kind of like Christmassy books. So if that's not a holiday that you celebrate, I would love to know what kind of books speak to you during December or the winter season in general. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone's doing really well, and we'll chat soon. Take care.